Welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Western Quake 3 level design. The purpose of this guide is more or less just to familiarize yourself with the tools that you need and how to get them installed. For a written version of this tutorial, as well as links to all of the programs that you'll see in this guide, please visit westernquake3.net. This tutorial is for a Windows XP environment and may or may not work for other operating systems. The first thing I would like to suggest is that if you are already a fan of Western Quake 3 and you enjoy playing the game, I would recommend that you install Western Quake again somewhere else to do your mapping in, because sometimes things can go wrong and we wouldn't want to screw up your gaming directory. First thing you're going to need to install is GTK Radiant, and that's the program we have on the screen here. Once you have it installed, start it. We'll go up to File, Project Settings, and your base path to the Western Q3 folder will be here. For Select Mod, you're going to want Custom Quake 3 Modification, and for FS_Game, we'll have, of course, Western Q3. Click OK. Go to Edit, Preferences, Game Settings. Once again, we're going to want Quake 3 Team Arena Modifications in this window. And I like to auto-load the selected game on startup. Just saves a little time. We'll go down to startup and autosave next. I like to have the last three options checked so that my map is automatically saved by the computer every 5 minutes. That's how I have it set up. Of course, you can put whatever you like there. Paths for your prefab path. And if you don't know what a prefab is, it's just stuff that's already been made for you, like trees, benches, wagons, that sort of thing. Something you can just plop right into your map real easy without having to make it. Of course, the prefab path that I prefer is in the Western Q3 folder in a prefabs folder. If you don't have a prefabs folder, you can just make it. Put your prefabs in there. I do have one other thing to say about the startup autosave feature. It doesn't like the Western Q3 directory, but we'll explain that in just a moment. For now, hit OK, and you're going to have to close Radiant for the changes to take effect and restart it. I've already been through all this, so I'll just minimize. Now in the base Q3 folder is where you're going to want to create a maps folder there. This is where the autosave feature prefers to go. If you don't do that, you're going to get a lot of errors down here in the console area of Radiant, and it doesn't hurt anything, it's just really annoying, and it won't autosave correctly either. So just create a maps folder in base Q3 and your autosaves will wind up there automatically. In the event of a catastrophe, you can just rename this file to whatever your map name is and move it over to the Western Q3 folder to replace the corrupted file that you have there. Now also, let's see, in the Western Q3 folder, you should have a maps folder. If you don't, make one. You should have a scripts folder. If you don't, make that also. I'm going to go look in the DevTools folder, and you're going to want to copy the entities wq3.def file. Copy that into the scripts folder, as I've done here. And while you're in this scripts directory, look for shaderlist.txt. Open it with the word editor of your choice. In this instance, I'm using Notepad. And at the end of the list, you're going to want to add 3 lines. I've already got them in here. Frag, Spoon, Western. And if you're going to follow along with the test map that I made specifically for this tutorial, you want to add the line WQ_test2. Select File, Save, and Close. Bring up Q3 Map 2 Tools. If you have installed that, start the program. Go to File, go to Edit, Configuration Tool, and of course Quake 3 Arena is what you want to choose in this window. Type in Quake 3 here, base Q3 here, and Quake3.exe there. The rest of these tabs you don't need to be concerned with. click on Q3 Map 2 Tools button here. Go back to Edit and Set Paths. Game, of course, is Quake 3 Arena. The path to the Quake 3 executable. The path to the Q3 Map.exe, which is going to be in Western Q3 DevTools. Path to the BSPC, which is what you need for bot support. You can find in Quake 3 Arena, Radiant 1.4/ and then BSPC.exe will be at the end here. It's grayed out in this instance. Just click OK. And we'll minimize that for. So, let's restart Radiant. And as I mentioned before, you have a console down here at the bottom. This just gives you a text output of everything that happens as you're working. Errors and warnings will show up as red or yellow, and it's very handy to keep an eye on that. You can resize these windows any way that you like. This, of course, is where the texture window is. This is a 3D window, and over to the left is the 2D window. To the far left is your Z-axis. That's up and down. So let's open the sample map that I made, that you should have extracted to Western Q3 Maps. And you'll see that in the texture window, of course, all the textures that were loaded for this map. The 3D window here, if you right click with the mouse, you can look around and use the arrow keys on your keyboard to sort of fly around the level. And to the left side, if you right click and hold it, you can pan around and just let go. The scroll wheel will zoom in or out. And if you hit Control Tab, the 2D window will switch from side views to the other side view and then back to the top view. So to select an object, you simply hit Shift and hold it on the keyboard and left click on the object that you want to select. You'll notice it's highlighted here in the 3D window and in the 2D window, and you can look at it from whichever angle you prefer. If we want to change the texture, we'll go to Textures, WQ3, and we'll pick the stone set, and that will be loaded at the bottom beneath everything else. You can choose anything you want, but for this example we'll choose this nice pretty green one here and hit Escape to deselect. Just that simple. Okay, now we'll make sure we hit save, and I recommend that you minimize Radiant, not close it. That way it's easy to undo. For instance, if I remove this and I compile the map and then I decided, well gee, I liked it with that boulder in there. If I had closed Radiant out, I would actually have to reopen the map and create the boulder again. But since I only minimized it, I can just maximize the program and go to undo. You'll notice right here that there are key combinations for shortcuts for everything. For complete list, go to the help button, and there's everything available to you there. If you learn some of these, it'll save you a lot of time. Okay, so let's save again. Minimize, bring up Q3 Map 2 Tools. Now at the top you want to make sure map files is selected. Right here we'll choose Western Q3, select the map we're working on. And for this tutorial we just want to see what it looks like really quickly. In the build options you have to choose meta, always. That's a given. You always have to do that. But the only other thing we really need just to take a quick look is under the Light tab, choose Fast. We'll click Build, DOSBox will open and start compiling the map. And it closes automatically when it's finished. A small map like this only takes a few seconds. Of course we'll hit Dev Map. That's it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it, and please visit us at westernquake3.net, where hopefully we will have more tutorials that will actually show you how to make maps. Thanks for your time.